Hey guys, my name's Mitch. Welcome to Grandad Gooner TV. Now, we are currently working on a mobile phone. I would have had this studio set up properly to be working on StreamYard by now. But unfortunately, like everything in today's society, we have to go with our limitations, what we can and what we can't do. And my production guy currently has COVID. So we are stuck to the phones. We are 1 week behind where we want to be, but that's okay. So the very first show I wanted to do live, but because I've only just started over the last few days uploading videos, we're not eligible to do live feeds. We will next week when we're on StreamYard and we've got everything in place. So let's just move on. Okay, so I want to talk today about the UEFA Champions League group stage match day 1 to 6. I have been wanting to say those words for 7 long years. It has been 7 long years since my club, the Arsenal, has graced the European arena, and it's hurt. It's really hurt. But we're back. We are back, baby. So let's get on with our fixtures. Let's talk about our fixtures. So our very first fixture, and bear in mind, full disclosure, the dates are in Australian Eastern Standard Time, as I am located in Queensland, Australia. So the very first game we have, match day 1, is we will be playing PSV and we'll be playing them at the Emirates. And that'll be on the 21st of September at the riveting time of 5 a.m. You European supporters don't know what we go through here down under to watch our beloved Arsenal. We are up at stupid o'clock. But it's worth it. We're back in the Champions League. Okay, now the thing is, before we play match day 2, we've got a very significant, and it's a big game. And the big game I'm talking about is the North London derby against the arch enemy, Tottenham. Now, I say that that's a big game for us. And the reason why I say that it's a big game for us is because Tottenham are managed by Ange Postecoglou. And everyone here in Australia who knows football understands that this man is just a winner. He wins everything wherever he goes. So I do have a little bit of concern, let's say, that he's going to get everyone working the way he likes his football to go, which is forward, which is progressive, and which is attacking. So we have Tottenham before we have our match day 2. Now, match day 2, we are playing Lens on the 4th of October at 5 a.m. again. So it's that stupid o'clock. Then we have, before match day 3, we have a home game against Man City. And we have an away game at Stamford Bridge. We'll talk about Chelsea. So they are important games for us moving forward this year. Now, I know Chelsea's playing like busted, whatever you want to call them, but Man City's flying. They normally start off pretty slow. So I am a little concerned. I've got to be honest, Arsenal fans. I'm a little concerned because Man City normally start a bit rough, and as the season goes on, they get better and better and better. And they do most of their damage in the last part of the season. So chasing Man City is going to be fun this year. It really is going to be fun. But playing Chelsea at Stamford Bridge is no joke either. Now, Chelsea have, I think it's 6,463 players on their books. Something ridiculous like that. Now, I know they've got rid of a lot of players, so it's not quite as dramatic as that. But they're all really let's just say their potential is exceptional. They're young players. They've got lots of potential and their ceilings are very, very high. But they're not playing like a team. And until they start playing like a team, mate, if you can't finish your dinner in front of goal, you don't deserve to win football matches. Let's be real. And at the moment, they can't finish their dinner. I mean, they just can't finish their dinner. They have a beautiful entree. They're like, okay, well, to finish my dinner, I'd like to have a nice dessert. And it never comes. So they never get to finish their dinner. It's as simple as that. They are bad in front of goal. So, although Chelsea is an away game, I still think we got them on toast. Now, match day 3, we play Sevilla. And we play Sevilla on the 25th of October. And again, stupid o'clock, that will be at 5 a.m. Arsenal fans. Match day 4, before we play match day 4, we play Newcastle away. And I've earmarked that game as important as well. Now, are Newcastle playing good football at the moment? Not really. They're kind of, I don't know, it's a question mark whether they're going backwards or not. Do I think Eddie Howe is a good manager for Newcastle? I do. I think he's a very good manager for Newcastle where they're currently at in their building phase. But Newcastle away to any team is a challenge. And so again, we're going to be in a unique situation where we're going away to Newcastle and then the next game we play is match day 4 and we're playing Sevilla, but this time it's at the Emirates. And that's at 6 a.m. Us Aussie Gooners out there, that is at 6 a.m. Match day 5, we are playing Lawns again. This time we are also at home, so we're at the mighty Emirates, and this is on the 30th of November, and that's also at 6 a.m. So get your coffees, cook yourself a nice brekkie on the barbecue, and you're good to go. You're good to go. Okay, match day 6. Now, we'll obviously know where we stand by match day 4 or 5, but match day 6 is an interesting one because we play PSV at home. We play them on the 13th of December, so that's just before my birthday. And we play that at ridiculous o'clock, 3:45 a.m. That, I think I'll just stay up. I think I'll just stay up because that's the easiest way to do it. But after match day 6, we have 2 very important games. So the first game is Brighton, and luckily we play them at the Emirates. So it's a home game against Brighton. And then we play Liverpool away at Anfield. And the way Liverpool are travelling, let's be real. If you guys watch the Premier League this weekend, last night, Liverpool put on a football clinic. They were absolutely majestic. I absolutely loved watching Liverpool Football Club last night. They are a scary proposition, man. They are a scary proposition. And the way Darwin Núñez gets them behind defences, wow. Man, we better be on our toes when we play Liverpool, whether it's home or away. So I think that's a really important thing to take on board. So there you go. The Champions League, we are back, baby. 7 long years and we are back. So what do you guys think about the games in between our match days? Because remember, this is a long season, Arsenal fans. There's plenty of football. And a lot of people saying, oh, well, we're not going to give ESR a crack. We're not going to do that. I think we are. I think we just have a lot of football. And he's going to play a lot of football in the lower kind of tiers of our season, if you will. Now, the reality is you don't win trophies as individuals. You win trophies as a team, as a squad of players. So I'm not going to fall into that misconception that ESR is looking to go elsewhere. I don't believe ESR is looking to go elsewhere. He is a Hale graduate. He loves the club, and he just needs to play football. And I think he'll get plenty of football this year anyway. Vieira, I mean, look at Vieira last year. Everyone wanted him sacked. They wanted him dropped. They wanted him sold to the lowest bidder. And look what the kid's doing now. You know, we already got told when we signed him, and we spent 30 plus mil on him, and everyone was freaking out, we were told that he is the heir to Bernardo Silva. I mean, that's enough for me. And guess what? I've always supported the players. I've always supported Arteta's tactics and his team and the way he's building his team and the way he's building his squad. Now we've got a little bit of depth. We've got another transformational signing. Declan Rice. Enough said about that man. He is an absolute transformational signing. So I think we've got a lot of football for all of our squad players. Trossard will play plenty of football. ESR will play plenty of football. I think in some stages we might even get the case where we see the young whiz kid Nathan Naweri. We might see him again because he's a very exciting young man. Okay, well, let's move into our match reaction now. Let's move into our match reaction. We played the old rivals last night, Manchester United. Now, we played them at home to a heaving Emirates Stadium. It was packed. We played them at home, and look, to be honest, if I was to give the overview of this match, there are key parts of the match that I would bring forth. Okay, so firstly, the game, the final score was 3-1. 3-1 to the Arsenal. Now, if you talk about overview of the actual players and how they played, I can pinpoint a few things. So you got Martinelli. Okay, now Martinelli, if I was giving him a rating out of 10, in fact, I'll give everyone a rating out of 10. So if I was giving Martinelli a rating out of 10, I'd give him a solid 8. And the reason I give him a solid 8 is because I think he roasted Wan-Bissaka. He burnt him. He absolutely burnt him. And I think any Manchester United fan who watched the game would, at the very least, Manchester United fans, you would agree that Wan-Bissaka had by far, his hardest game of the season so far, up against Martinelli. Let's be real. So if you think, oh no, he had a solid game, then you're delusional. It's as simple as that. Now, Captain Fantastic, Martin Odegaard. Now, Martin Odegaard, the thing I love about football is the little things that you see. And it's not necessarily what happens on the pitch either. Like, we went down. Really good finish by Rashford. Very, very classy finish by Rashford. But we should never have given him that space. Let's be honest, Arsenal fans. We went down. And while Man United was celebrating, Arteta had got his captain over to the sideline. And he was giving him very specific instructions. And less than a minute later, Martin Odegaard equalises. Now, I look at those things. Now, I don't know. Is it, I don't know, is it in the stars? Or is he that good? This is what I don't think Arsenal fans are giving Arteta enough credit. He's a very complex man, I agree. Very complex. Old school Arsenal fans that I'm watching in Europe, in England, are saying that he's just a waffle monster. He just does nothing but waffle. But I have a very different opinion of Arteta. Now, I'm not going to say he was a dominant player for us when he played for us and he was our captain. No, not at all. He was a dominant player for Everton before we signed him to play for us. But is it what we needed as a club at the time? Because we were a shambles in the midfield. The answer to that is yes. And he did exactly what he did at Everton for us as far as putting our midfield into place. Now, as a manager, He is so far advanced. Now, most people are going to go, oh my God, another waffle monster, but this one comes from Australia. Well, no, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, so that's fine. You can say whatever you want. The reality is, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Was it a coincidence? Was it just a pure coincidence? Any Arteta haters out there, was it a pure coincidence that less than a minute after him giving exact instructions to Martin Odegaard, our Captain Fantastic, that Martin Odegaard is the one that scores the equaliser? Is it just pure coincidence? Am I just delusional? I don't think I am. I don't think I am. The way the players talk about their manager and the depth of tactics this man has in his locker, I don't think that was a coincidence. Mikel Arteta saw something and he attacked. And he attacked through his captain. Martin Odegaard was absolutely fantastic in link-up play yesterday. Absolutely fantastic. Now, I don't think he's been his creative best this whole season. But last night, he was fantastic. He was solid across the board. Now, that's more than I can say for Saka. Saka is our star boy. In my opinion, Saka is our best player in our team, our entire squad. He is our best player, in my opinion. You could think differently, but it's in my opinion, I think he's our best player. But last night, that was a very difficult game for Saka. It was a difficult game for Saka. Now, the one thing I will say about Saka is I don't expect him to be a 9.5 every single time he plays. And to be fair, he hasn't had a break for a very, very long time. So we are going to get these poor performances. And I do think it was a poor performance. Okay, yep, he got a few... he got tackled a lot. So we won a lot of opportunities to create chances, definitely, through Saka. But I personally think in the second half especially, I personally think that Saka was pocketed. Now, you could have a different opinion and feel free to share it. But if you're talking about the team holistically, the whole way that Arsenal played against Man United at the Emirates last night, Saka had a difficult game. And I don't think many true Arsenal supporters would have a different opinion if they watch football. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, Rice had a masterclass. Declan Rice, I said a long time ago, Declan Rice is a transformational signing for Arsenal. I've had a lot of conversation with top six superfans, Man City, Liverpool, bring it on, the whole lot of them. But specifically Man City. And they're all saying, well, you know, you're not gonna beat us. We are a light blue machine. You're not going to beat us. We get better as the season goes on, and we just and to be honest, they do. Their history shows they get better and better and better as the season goes on. In fact, the first few games is normally like, but then they get better and better, and they get really good at the end of the season, and that's what championship teams do. And I don't mean championship as in like the championship. I mean that's what champions do. Premier League champions. That's what they do. But anyone who says that Arsenal has not shown ambition in this window that has just closed by getting Declan Rice doesn't understand what it takes to win premierships. Because to win a premiership, you need a certain amount of experience. You need a certain amount of youth and exuberance and just flair, X factor. You need a solid defence, and I mean a solid defence. And you need creative individuals to create those chances to score. You definitely need a bagsman up front. That's on the paddock. But off the paddock, you need to act like a big club, And the way you do that is by showing ambition. And the way you show ambition is by signing high quality players that fit your system. Declan Rice was a slam dunk. It's an absolute slam dunk. And it was even better when Man City came in. Because I don't care what anyone says, Man City fans, but we beat Declan Rice. We got Declan Rice because we beat you guys. You chose to, no, I'm not getting involved. That's just too high. You wanted him. Just be honest. You wanted Declan Rice and you missed out. Straight facts. You missed out. Now, that's great for us. That's fantastic for Arsenal because we haven't acted with any ambition for many, 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 many years. And anyone who knows Arsenal, as I know Arsenal, 1-0 to the Arsenal is how I grew up, you will always have that connection with trophies. And it is the yardstick. It is the yardstick that you basically hold your club to. So to actually get Rice over the line and have him fit into this team like a glove is so awesome to watch. And for him to get his first goal for the club at home in such an important game in the regards that we're talking about, ye old rival Manchester United, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant to see. Really, really happy for Dec getting his first goal. He absolutely fits into this club like a glove, like I said. He was solid across the board. Lots and lots of fantastic tackling. He was extremely secure when it came to anything behind midfield and in midfield. He created the tempo that let us move forward into the game. His tempo was how we were playing, and he was excellent in possession. So when you look at Declan Rice's game, and then obviously that banger of a goal. Now, okay, Manchester United fans, you might have a little bit of a question mark. There might have been, I've heard people saying, oh, I thought that was a foul in the box. Now, I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. But I watched the game with a Manchester United fan who loves his club as much as I love my club. And I do that because I love to get real emotion when I'm watching a football match. And you only get that when you're sharing a match with the arch enemy that you're playing. And the very first thing that the Manchester United supporters said that came out of his mouth when Dec scored that goal was not about Johnny Evans being pushed off the ball or fouled in the box, was how poor his keeper was. Now, I think that's a rough thing to say because I think there was a deflection, a clear deflection, and to be fair, Anana did the best he could, but with that deflection, we got lucky. But the control from Declan Rice to bring the ball down and then play that shot, that banger of a shot, that's all skill, baby. That is a Premier League player with over 200 appearances and only 24 years of age. So Declan Rice had an absolute masterclass, let's be honest. Now, if we talk about the other key players, okay, so Martinelli, he gets an 8. Captain Fantastic, he gets an 8. Saka, he gets a 4. He had a very difficult game, so he gets a 4. Now, Rice, masterclass, he's a 9. That was a wonderful game of football to watch from start to finish. I was just watching Dec and I was watching Havertz, to be honest, that game, and wow, I'm glad Rice had an absolute cracker of a game because Havertz did not. Now, Ramsdale. Now, there's an argument. There is a definite argument here, and I'm going to bring up the point why I'm rating Ramsdale at this number. So I give Ramsdale a 6. And the reason I give him a 6 is because his distribution with Raya in the wings, his distribution needs to be precise and accurate, because Raya's distribution is exceptional. And I don't think anyone who's watched Raya and his long ball distribution when he played for Brentford and he had Tony as his target man, I don't think anyone can disregard the fact that Raya's distribution is exceptional. So having those two quality keepers at the club is fantastic for Ramsdale. But he better be careful, guys. He better be careful. I want to get your opinion on this, but he better be careful because his distribution was poor. It was not precise. It was not accurate. And if you want to play at Arsenal Football Club and you've got Raya up your clacker, you need to be the best version of yourself. Now, in fairness, the first goal was Rashford banger, and Ramsdale did get a hand to it. And to be fair, that was an exceptional effort. But Rashford, that was clinical. That was clinical. Little touch, boof, swivel, bang. Prime Rashford. And that was exceptional. That was very, very exceptional. So, great goal. So, Ramsdale gets a 6 for me. Now, we talk about Zinni. Arsenal play progressively when Zinchenko plays. It's as simple as that. Arsenal play very progressive football when Zinchenko plays. And I personally think what I watched last night was I watched Zinchenko, who, let's be honest, he's not the best defensive defender. Let's be honest, he's progressive. He likes to invert. We know that. But I had a bit of a giggle, and I'm going to use the words that were given to me by my Manchester United superfan who was watching the game with me at stupid o'clock here in Queensland, Australia. And he said, Zinchenko has literally made Anthony the invisible man. And I look back on that game and I go, you know what? He's right. You barely saw Anthony with his raids. I mean, I don't rate Anthony anyway. But let's be fair. He does have pace. He just doesn't have the close ball skills, I don't think. Now, you could be wrong. You can be right. My opinion is I don't think he has that. And I don't rate Anthony as a winger in the Premier League, to be brutally honest. But Manchester United fans, he's your man. I respect that. I get it. I'm just sharing an opinion. So for Zinchenko to literally make Anthony the invisible man, I thought that was quite ironic. Because, yeah, he did. He did a fantastic job. Now, Ben White. Now, obviously, we didn't know what kind of formation we're going to play, if we're going to do the Partey experiment, blah, 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 or we're going to go back to our holy solely, which was Ben White and Gabby Zinni, back four. You got your Zinni who inverts. You've got your right who bangs up the flank, tucks in behind Saka. You've got Gabriel, who's your traditional sweeper. And you've got your traditional stopper in Gabriel, in Saliba. So that is our proven back four. Now, White had a poor game. And again, he very rarely does have a poor game. So he had a poor game. So I would be giving White a 5. And the reason I give him White the 5 is I think that Rashford was dominant against Ben White. I really do. So I'm giving him a 5. I'd love to give him more because he's one of my favourite players. But you know what? It's not about your favourites. It's about how they perform for your team. And for the Arsenal last night, Ben White was a 5. Saliba and Gabriel done their job. There was nothing exceptional about either of them. Although I did appreciate Gabriel's ability to think quickly when, what's his name, Garnacho, or whatever his name is, scored the goal that actually came back. I give them a 6. I give Eddie a 6 as well. Now, the thing is, that could be quite harsh. Because when I look at the game, Eddie did nothing wrong. No, he didn't score any goals. No, he didn't do this. No, he didn't do that. But his hold-up play was excellent. He did link up with Odegaard. I thought he had a solid game. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh. But the reality is, he gets a 6. Now, the Portuguese wonder kid, Fabio Vieira. I've watched a lot of this kid. I've watched a lot of this kid when he was in Portugal. I've watched him in the under-21s. Solid. I know there is a baller in there. And all last year when Arsenal fans were going, well, sell him to the lowest bidder, give him away, swap him out. Calm down, Arsenal fans. You've got to give your players time to learn the systems, understand how they play, and what their best position is in the team as far as where they're going to position themselves when they do play. And when they're given the opportunity, they need to perform because this is the Arsenal. And I get it. But Vieira's done nothing wrong. And this year, you are seeing the Vieira of what I expected to see. This kid is very, very talented. A lot of people saying, oh, he needs to put some meat on. He needs to go home and eat lots and lots of meals. I get that. He's slight. He's slight in build. But he's fast and he's technically gifted. He's got an eye for a solid pass. And surprise, surprise, 2 cameos, 2 assists. This kid is getting better and better and better by every game he plays. And that ball through to Jesus to just ice the game at 3-1 was exceptional. That was exceptional. So I give Vieira, who only came on for a very short time frame, I give him a solid 7. And I think most people would say, why? Why'd you give him a 7? He was brilliant. Because he wasn't on for that long. Now, I actually think Arteta's getting better. And remember, you're always learning. He's a young manager. But he's very, very astute. And one thing I was very critical of last year, very critical, and that is his lack of understanding with substitutions, who to put on and when to bring them on. Very critical. I probably shouldn't have been so critical because the reality is he did not have the depth last year. This year, we do have the depth. Now, in fairness, we have the Timber injury, which is horrific, and I wish Yuri Timber all the best on his recovery. That must be so hard for that young man. He was beast mode Timber, and oh my God, he would have been epic this year. But he's injured, and he's not going to be available this year. So it is what it is. But he's going to be mental for us next year. I love the thought of him being on that paddock next year is going to be crazy. Now, I've left the last player that I want to talk about, who I think is the most polarizing player, trending left, right, and centre, and that's Kai Havertz. Now, I have been a very consistent lover of this player. And the reason why I love this player is because, one, he's young, he's very, very gifted technically. He cannot finish. I get that. I do get that. But he does a lot of things that a lot of Arsenal fans don't realise he's actually doing. A lot of old school Arsenal fans go, I have eyes, I've got the eye test, I can see this, I can see that. Chelsea fans will all be like, oh, well, he gave us 3 years of absolute dross, and now he's going to give you the same. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way at all. Like any quality player in the Arsenal Football Club, you need to give him time and you need to support him. Now, it doesn't mean you can't be critical of his performances, as I am about to be. It doesn't mean you hate the player. It doesn't mean you love the player. Abusing the player is pointless. That is just dross yourself. If you are abusing Arsenal players, how dare you call yourself an Arsenal fan? It has got nothing to do with abuse. It's about constructive critique and criticism. And everyone has the right to critique and criticise their players, their manager, the owners, and the board. Now, Havertz had a stinker. He had an absolute stinker. It was his worst game of the season. And I don't think he's been bad in the role that I know he's designed to play in, which is the Rumdeiter. And anyone who knows what a Rumdeiter is, think of Thomas Muller. I'm not saying he's as good as Thomas Muller. I'm saying he is a space interpreter, exactly like Thomas Muller. Thomas Muller gave himself the name Rumdeiter. Rumdeiter means space interpreter in Deutsch, in German. Here in Australia, a Rumdeiter we call a space invader. And it's really, really direct. And you don't see what this person does until someone else is into space, or someone else has an assist, or someone else is scoring a goal. And then you go, oh, I could see what he did there. But because Arsenal is such a massive global football club, we don't see the small things. Now, I'm not going to leave it there because he was absolutely shocking last night. He had an absolute stinker. So Havertz's defence was good on Bruno. I'll give him that. But that's as far as it goes. That's as far as it goes. He had a shocker. So do I think that he gets dropped? I don't, because the one thing that I've learned about Mikel Arteta is he backs his players. And if you hear every single young player that comes to the Arsenal and they've had tutelage from Arteta, in a very short time frame, everyone's raving about how much they've learnt from Arteta in such a short time frame. And you've got to remember, this is what people are taking totally for granted. Kai Havertz is still very, very young and very exciting. He's German. If that doesn't tell you a lot about his personality and how he holds himself, nothing does. Because Germans have no sense of humour. Germans, they're not exciting personalities. So Kai Havertz is just being a German. Now, he will have better games in the future. And I'm a big believer of the 10-game rule. Now, I say the 10-game rule because I don't even look at the Premier League table for 10 games. Because that's how I've been brought up. There's no point in having an opinion in your first 2-3 games. Like the thing that blew me away yesterday, and I mean really blew me away, is that game against Man United was touted as like, if we don't win that game, we've got a disaster season. We've dropped 2 points, Arsenal fans, and that's all we've dropped. We have dominated in every single game we have played this season, and we dropped 2 points. We are not playing bad football. We are not playing exceptional, exciting football like last year, and our fluidity has definitely lessened. I will say that. But we are playing possession-based dominance. And if you can't see that we are dominating teams with possession, then I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know what game you're watching every week, because we weren't poor against any team this year. They were just better in certain places on the field at certain times. And you're not going to be able to defend 100% of the time. There are ebbs and flows in every football match. And, I've said it over and over again. I'm not going to use all the technical analytic terms. I'm just going to say it real straightforward. When people attack, sometimes you miss tackles. Sometimes you miss tackles. Sometimes you don't time a pass. It's as black and white as that. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're really good, and sometimes you're very bad. Now, as professional footballers, you'd like to think that you're not going to be very bad, but you are allowed to make mistakes because you're human. So we are not in a bad position, Arsenal fans. We are not in a bad position at all. We have played dominating football all season long. Kai Havertz needs to score goals. Kai Havertz needs to get more involved in the space invading. He's doing variety of different runs, but they're not connecting to the box. And that's the missing part of the puzzle. All he needs to do is score some goals, and we would not be having this conversation. His stinking performance last night would not be an issue if he had won the penalty. Let's be real. We wouldn't be talking about Kai Havertz having a stinker. You'd just be going, oh, he got us the penalty. Man, that was brilliant. Oh, Worst case scenario, you would have said, well, Kai Havertz got us the penalty. So that would be in your head. So straight away, you're like, well, it's a goal contribution. You can get as really drawn out statistically as you want. But the reality is, if someone earns a penalty, then it's a goal contribution. If you score from the penalty, doesn't matter which way you bake the cake. When it comes out, it's still a cake. You know what I'm getting at? So overall, 3-1 to the Arsenal. I think we absolutely deserved to have that scoreline. It was good to see Gabby get on the scorecard. Again, beautiful ball by Vieira. It was great. Declan Rice's goal. Manchester United, I understand. A lot of you are going to be talking for the next, 3 months about the fact that there was some kind of issue in the box and it shouldn't have been counted. But the reality is, I think Manchester United aren't playing bad football. They're having bad moments. Not that I really care about Manchester United, but the point is I'm just giving you a little bit of hope, Manchester United supporters. Although your manager, God, you want to talk about Arteta waffling? Your manager is disgraceful, the stuff he says after matches. Come on. Listen to his press conference. If you're proud of that manager, you're a joke. That's my opinion. And I'm allowed to have it. And you are also allowed to have yours. So get on and get some comments going. Get on and challenge me. This is not about an argument. This is not about a fight. This is about football fans having some fun. Bit of banter. Now, we talked about the Champions League and how excited we are to finally be back in the fold. Finally be back in the fold. Now, I want to just touch a little bit more on that. The teams we're playing are interesting because, like Lens, they came second to only PSG last year. And so I kind of figured Lens would be out of the Champions League group. I reckon they'd be probably our stiffest competition. But no, they aren't. And I'll tell you why. They have actually let go of their striker. And they've let go of Seko Fofana. He's gone to Al Nassr. They're two high-quality players that do serious damage. And then I didn't look at the squads from last year. I just thought, well, I'll have a look at the transfer windows and see what happened within those teams. And I've got to be honest, I think PSV Eindhoven are going to be they're going to be the dark horses. They're going to be the ones to worry about. And I'll tell you why, because they have signed Noah Lung. Now, Noah Lung is someone that we were looking at. He's a young striker, 24-year-old Dutchman. And he is an excitement machine. He's really, really good in front of goal, but he's strong on the ball as well. So he's an excitement machine. He's only 24. But then they also signed the Mexican right winger, Lozano. And he knows how to cross the ball. I wouldn't say he's slow. I'd say he's technically gifted as well. So I think when you've got a striker and you've got a guy that can get the ball into the box, that is a recipe for disaster, Arsenal. So when we play PSV, I personally think PSV is going to be our main threat. And when we play PSV, we need to absolutely knock those guys down. So you need to stop Lung, and you need to just pocket Lozano. Because if we do that, we're going to stifle PSV Eindhoven's attack. There's no Gakpo. There's no Yavi Simmons. There is no serious quality youngsters there that haven't already shown the kind of players they are. They do have some young whippersnappers there that are quite talented, but they haven't really shown it yet. They've got some good grounding, but that's about it. We talk about quality. I personally think we have the wood on all of those teams in our group. And I'll be very disappointed if we don't top that group. Very disappointed, because I think we've got depth in our squad. Rice to control our midfield. Partey and Jorginho are absolutely brilliant players to control games in the later stages as well. So I think that's really important for us moving forward. And I really think ESR is going to get a run when we start getting into those games and start getting into those games deep as far as playing on all these different fronts. So I think we've got a really, really great opportunity. And I think, what is it? Is it the last? I think it's the last year, this year, where it's going to be traditional Champions League. And I think next year we'll probably see a very, very different format. I really do believe that this will be the last year. So it'd be really funny if after all this time, we finally win it at the last post. Man, that would be one hell of a comeback story, I'll tell you that. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm really looking forward to the Champions League games. I'm super excited about those games. And I'm actually going to try to do watch-alongs for those Champions League games, those match days. Now, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I don't care. I'm just going to try and give you guys the best Arsenal content I can possibly produce. So yeah, with the help of a couple of production friends of mine, we're going to put some really cool stuff together over the coming days and weeks. As I said earlier in the stream, right at the start, I would already be doing the StreamYard stuff, except for my production guy has COVID, and he's out of action for another 6 days. So unfortunately, we're still bringing you the mobile phone stuff. My humble apologies. We are going to get bigger and better in the coming days and weeks. Let me know the kind of content you want me to produce. Do you want watch-alongs? Do you want raw reaction shows? Are you interested in the Aussie top six show? Because if you are, if you're a super fan out there, if you're a Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, if you are a super fan out there, I would love to have you on my show talking about your club and your love for your club. And we'll have some banter as well, so it's all good fun. Yeah, DM me. I'd love to have you. And yeah, let's create some memories together on this YouTube journey. That's what it's all about, guys. It's all about engaging you guys and giving you a safe platform to talk football. Now, obviously, this is an Arsenal fan channel, 100%, but I love football, so I'll talk football till the cows come home. Yep, so UEFA League, woo, Champions League, can't wait, Champions League. It's been so long and we're back. So on that note, I want you to smash the likes. I want you to drop us some comments. And hey, if you like the content and you think it's a bit of fun, then go ahead and push that subscribe button. It's quite easy to do. You just push it. So on that note, I love talking Arsenal. My name's Mitch. This is Grandad Gooner TV. And I'm out.